Hey friend, welcome to the Intentional Mind Podcast. I'm so excited that you are listening to today's episode because I really believe there's no coincidence that you are here, that there is a message for you today that you need to take away from today's episode. What we're talking about is celebration and reflection. We're going to get into a little bit of the science behind why you need to be celebrating. But what I want to do on this episode is to convince you to take the time before this year is over to stop and reflect on the past year and reflect on your wins, learn from how you showed up, and celebrate. Celebrate what you accomplished. Even if this past year was a difficult year for whatever reason, I know there are so many things to be proud of. And I know it would serve you to take the time to reflect on that and shift that energy up and take that good energy with you into this next year. And at the very least, if you don't do this before the year is over, at least do it before you craft your next vision, because that's going to help you create a vision that is even more intentional. And then you're going into it, I believe, with the higher energy, and that serves you. I always remember this quote from one of our past episodes with Moshe Gersh, and he said, the energy of the creator is in the created. Like whatever it is that you create, like your energy is in that. So I often think about getting my energy up higher before I create something new. And the celebration, this reflection and then celebrating what you accomplished and what worked well for you, that's you shifting your energy up so you can take that high energy into the thing that you create next. That's really why I'm advocating for you to do this. Okay, I got some stories for you about moments of celebration in my life that were really meaningful to me. And then I also got some science to share with you, and I have some tips for you to do some reflection and celebration on your own. And then I'm going to invite you to do some of that work with me. All right, so let's get right to it. All right, so one moment of celebration that really sticks out in my mind is the time my husband and I went to this fancy restaurant in Savannah, Georgia, to celebrate me completing my scuba diving certification training. And I didn't actually know that we were going there to celebrate. I actually thought we were just going there for the fancy dinner because we had a gift card, just keeping it real. But it was the day that I finished my training. And a little backstory about this training. This scuba diving training thing wasn't my idea. It was something my husband wanted me to do because he thought it would make me more comfortable with being in the water, because I, in the past, was not comfortable with being in the water. I didn't like swimming, none of that stuff. I want to say I didn't really grow up in the water, but I do remember times where I went to the lake a lot and I was swimming when I was a kid and things like that. But something happened where I wasn't really comfortable with the water. So my husband was noticing that that was affecting my enjoyment, when we would go on trips and things like that. I didn't really want to get in the water. So he was like, well, what if you did scuba diving training? Like, well, let's take it to the crazy next level where we put you in the water and we strap some weights to you and we sink you down in the ocean where the sharks are. Let's do that. And then maybe you'll feel more comfortable, enjoy the water more. I don't know what he was thinking. I feel like that's probably what he was thinking in his mind, because that's how my husband is. But anyways, so he convinced me to do this, and I ended up doing my training, and I was so terrified, y'all. I remember sweating each day of the training, like galore. So that last day when we went out for dinner, I was like, sigh of relief, like this thing's done. Like I'm just done. I checked that box. What's the next goal? Like that's how I really felt about it. I didn't even, like in my own mind, I wasn't like, damn girl, I'm so proud of you. You did that scary thing. Like there was nothing like that. It was just like, all right, that's done. Let's go on to the next thing. And so when we were at this nice fancy restaurant, they had brought us dessert, and they brought this big oval shaped plate with dessert on it. I want to say it was something chocolate. And they wrote on the side of it, congratulations. And I wasn't expecting it. My husband had told them. So when they brought the plate out, I looked down, I was like, congratulations. And he was like, yeah, for your scuba diving training being done and like you doing that thing. And I'm so proud of you and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, I know that was really hard and scary, but you did it. Like, how do you feel now? And he was like letting me just like soak up those good feelings. I was like, yeah, I am proud of myself. That was scary for me. And then I just remember smiling really big. I remember being so tired, but like smiling really big. And that moment of celebration, which was just a dinner, wasn't anything like extraordinary special. It was just another dinner with a gift card that we had. But that moment of sitting there and reflecting back and being like, yeah, I did that. And then celebrating with somebody that I love and talking about it, sharing how I felt, just revisiting that stood out in my mind. And I've done a lot of things in my life. I've accomplished a lot of things just like you have. But they don't all stand out in my brain. But this specific one does, me doing my scuba diving training, because of the way that I intentionally celebrated. Well, this is kind of accidental, but we actually took the time to celebrate it. So there's been other stories in my life of celebration, and I can think about how when my husband and I paid off all of our student debt, how we celebrated with Mexican food. And then we started getting into this tradition of when we would do something that we were proud of together, we would celebrate with Mexican food. I remember being in a Mexican restaurant when we had closed on our house, because we bought our house when we were on the Appalachian Trail. We picked out our house and we were standing on the edge of a mountain trying to get service to be like, tell our realtor, like, yes, we want to make the offer. That's the house we want and stuff. And then we went out to eat at this Mexican restaurant and we celebrated that. And I remember I have a little video clip talking about how yeah, we never saw the house that we just purchased, for ourselves, but we just bought it. We made this offer and they accepted, yay. And I was so excited. And so my brain has a positive association too with the Mexican food of being celebratory. And then as time has continued throughout the years, we've done more things and we've celebrated those with the Mexican food. And I think of Mexican food as celebratory. And sometimes I even find myself having resistance to go to a Mexican restaurant because I'm like, well, I wait because I gotta have something to celebrate there because my brain has such a positive association with it. But I'm like, dang, there's so many things to celebrate. In fact, I should go there regularly so I can feel those feelings again. And my point of telling you this is because your brain's going to make associations with certain places or things and view that as celebratory. So you can be intentional about the way that you celebrate. And then you can start to think, well, every time I go there, what else can I celebrate while I'm here? And one of my favorite things to say when we go out to eat, when people are like, is there a special occasion? You know how sometimes a server might ask you that when you're eating? And I'm like, yeah, we're celebrating life. Because I want that feeling all the time, that celebratory feeling. All right, so let's move on to the science of celebrating. We started already talking about this a little bit, but just to dive in, let's talk about dopamine. So dopamine is released when you celebrate. Your brain ends up creating that positive association with you doing the thing and you reflecting back on it. It's like, oh, this feels good. And dopamine is not just a feel-good hormone. It's also related to motivation. So you want that to be released so that you're more likely, it's going to drive you, again, to come back and do those kinds of things that make yourself proud again and again, because you're chasing that same feeling. It's similar to, let's say you eat cookies and you're like, when I eat a cookie, it feels really good. I like that taste. I like how it feels in the moment. And then that's why you seek out more cookies, because you want that feeling again. Well, this is a healthy way of going about attaining things in your life, seeking that feeling out again. Because let's be real, why do we do anything? Because of the way it makes us feel. So let's generate more of those good feelings around our accomplishments so that we want to create more of them. So we're willing to go after the things so that we can feel that way again. And you should be feeling your way positive as you're seeking it out too, and not just at the very end. But the way that you can make that happen is you can create milestones as you're going after something where you stop and you celebrate. You're constantly celebrating along the way. You're constantly celebrating maybe one step of it or the next thing you did or what you did for that day that's related to your overall goal. There's a lot of celebration there, and that's going to keep you going so that you're not just waiting to celebrate at the very end. You're going to be motivated throughout. That's my point. Another thing that celebrating is going to do for you is it's going to help reduce the negativity around maybe you might be carrying. Maybe there's a lot of self-doubt that's there around you following through on things. You're going to see evidence of you following through, of you being the person that you want to be. This is going to build your confidence. It's going to be oh, there you are, showing up as the person who does do hard stuff, who sticks with it, who makes themselves proud. And then it starts to become an identity thing. And you're like rewiring your brain and the way that you see yourself. So you're building confidence with this act of celebrating, which everybody could use some more confidence. All right. And then another thing that it's going to do is it's going to close the feedback loop, because you started something and now we're closing that loop. And it's like, it's done. We finished it. So it's a nice closure there. And then we're ready to move on to something else. The brain likes to close the loops. This is going to help you so much with your energy. It's like, instead of you having a gazillion running tabs open on your computer, like mine has right now, instead of that, it's like you're closing out the tabs. Now we can create space for the next thing. This is where I believe the science comes in. All right, so those 3 things, and really that can be summed up when it comes to the science, is the dopamine boost that's gonna benefit you, that's gonna keep you motivated to keep going after things, and you reducing negative thoughts in a sense in your mind, helping to build your confidence, and then closing the feedback loops. All right, now why do you want to reflect and celebrate now at this specific time? Because we're about to end a year. At the time that I'm recording this episode, we're about to end the year. And it's a great time to reflect back and create that closure that is needed. And for you to take that good energy with you into the next year. Because the energy of the creator is in the created. So you want high energy to take into the next year as you create things. Because you want the high energy associated with the things that you create. Because then you're going to attract more abundance in your life. You're going to be able to receive more abundance. Instead of the word attract, let's go with the word receive, just like a radio station. It's like when you turn the channel or you're on a different frequency, you're receiving the music, right? It's a receiver. You are a receiver. You're receiving what is out there. What you desire is already out there. You just got to be at a place to receive it energetically. And you will if you get yourself to be the kind of person that resonates in that celebratory energy. It reminds me too of being in the energy of it's already done. It's act as if, and then you will receive it. Maybe you've heard some of those things or sayings like that. I really feel like that's an energy thing too. It's like the more that you celebrate and you live in that celebratory space, the more that you'll have to celebrate. It's like the more gratitude you have, the more things you have to be grateful for, because that's where you're tuned in. To get a little woo over here, but I feel like it's so supportive of it. The science supports it as well. All right. So naturally, this time of year is going to invite closure. And then I also feel like you can end the year by, when you do this reflection work intentionally, it's like you're noticing the things that you're proud of yourself for. And when that is happening, just naturally, this is just how we work as humans, there's another part of you that's going to show up that's going to be like, and I'm proud of this, and maybe I wish I could have devoted more energy to this thing. And maybe I want to create more of this. Like, I'm proud that I did this, and it's got me thinking, oh, I want more of that. Or maybe I want to improve in this area too. There's going to be an and fill in the blank that's going to pop up with you naturally. Sometimes it can veer off a little bit on the judgy side where it's like, oh, I wish I would have made more progress in this space. Whatever it is, you can use that to serve you in the next year. And it can give you clarity because you'd be like, yeah, I'm proud of this and I want to create more of that. And I also feel like I want to focus more on this thing. And it's going to, again, set the foundation for you to clarify your vision in the upcoming year. And I'm here to help you do that. I have a whole program on clarifying your vision. I'm teaching a course on this. I always do at the beginning of the year. I teach it live. And you'll also have the way to purchase it online. That's been something I've been working on. I feel like I've been saying it for too long, and I found myself, it's all ready to go, but I'm holding back on putting it out there because I want to teach the live version again. And there's some things I want to add to it that weren't in my recordings that I've just found out. So I digress. My point is that I really believe that you should be doing this work, whether you do it with us or you do it with other people. Like, get this in, reflect and celebrate. Okay, I got 3 tips for you before we end today. One is you want to write down your wins. So if you just, sit down and you're like, 5 things I'm really proud of myself for this past year. Then find a way to make it special. create a ritual around it, like I did with the Mexican food. Maybe there's, you light a candle, you have a toast, you go to a specific place, whatever that is for you. Make it special that you're celebrating. And then share your wins. Share your wins with somebody that you love. It's going to create a deeper connection with that person, and it's going to be fun. And you're going to be generating joy, the joyful energy to them, and they're going to catch that, and that they benefit from that as well. All right, so those are 3 tips to reflect and celebrate: writing out your wins, making it special, and sharing your wins with someone that you love. You can do this on your own. Now, I'm going to invite you to come do this work with us if you want to. So we are doing an event. My friends and I are hosting this event called the Cozy Celebration Circle. It's happening on Zoom. So you can be in any clothes, in your comfies. It's all about the cozy, comfy vibes. You log in on Zoom, and we are going through this process of reflecting on our past year. And we're going to look at each area of our life. I'm going to guide you through that piece. Natalie and Kate, my friends, are also hosting. They're doing other sections of this, like the grounding meditation and reflection. And we're going to talk about like the special time of year. It's going to be really fun. And it's going to help you, again, celebrate, reflect, celebrate, and also set the foundation for an amazing next year to clarify this next vision. And whoever attends also gets bonus discounts to attending the Clarify Your Vision event. If that's something that you want to do, it's only $14 to attend this event. Really, it's not, obviously not a huge moneymaker for any of us. It's probably not worth my time financially, but I'm doing it because it's worth my time energetically, and it's worth your time energetically to be doing for yourself. So, if you want to be a part of this, we would love to have you there. You can go to bit.ly/cozy celebration. And I will put the link to it in the details of this episode. I hope that you show up there. And even if you aren't able to show up there, take some time to stop and reflect back on this year and to celebrate with someone that you love and talk about those things that made you proud. Because the more that you talk about those kinds of things, the more you're going to be doing other things that will make yourself proud. And you'll be designing the life that you want. And that's the whole point of this episode. All right. I hope you have an awesome day, and I see you soon. All right. Bye.